with 5B Shotty G or Shotty G, whatever you want to call me. It's kind of crazy I'm making this my first video, but I don't know. I've been tapped in with the prime YouTuber beef, whatever you want to call it. It's not really beef because, you know, just exchanging words, but, you know, no real beef been established. I know those guys are cool, and I watch those guys a lot. Talking about Romaine the Trucker and Trucker B, I watch those guys all the time, so, you know, I know it ain't no beef. But I feel like a lot of things were being left unsaid, and I just wanted to throw my 2 cents, or my little 2 cents in there, just to throw some info around. Now, like I said, I watch Romaine the Trucker's videos all the time, and from what I've seen, or from what I've heard, the way you like to run, this is my personal opinion. I think you should have went lease at Prime, or at least tried it before you jump ship to another company. And before we get our panties in a bunch, let me tell you why, right? So, all right, if you see me looking over here, I wrote a few notes down because, you know, I just been doing some digging. So, there's something about in your earlier videos, like you don't really go home, or like your family back in Jamaica type. So, you live on the truck pretty much. So, why not try to make the most money you can while you out here? And if you did want to go home, you go home whenever you want. And just part of being I'm gonna get into that later, but like part of being a business owner, because you essentially running a business. So part of being a business owner, you got money saved for those days you go home. So like, let's say you do go home for X amount of time, you got X amount of dollars to cover your home time. Then you left Prime for more miles. But if you lease, I don't think you would have had a problem leasing at Prime, because, you know, you're not chasing miles or cents per mile. You know, you're getting a percentage of the load payment. I think it's 72. But yeah, you getting a percentage of the pay and not worried about getting X amount of miles every week. So I feel like if you did that, you would have been fine at Prime. But like I said, that's just my personal opinion. You know, I'm just throwing my 2 cents out there. Right, this is where I get into like the business aspect of it, because I've been solo for a cool 4 or 5 months, and I'm already getting the like logistics side of it, or like the business aspect of it, which I think is really good for somebody to learn out here, even if you are a company driver. But the whole point of a lease purchase, or like a lease operator, you take an aim at higher profits. So it's like higher risk, higher reward. But you know, you out here not just running rampant. Oh, I'm getting fuel at this stop, I'm getting fuel at this stop, I'm getting fuel at this stop. You know, you just being mindful of the certain, or the places you're stopping. So like, let's say, I think I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, the whole point of a lease is to take aim at higher profits. So, I mean, you essentially running a business. Obviously, you got to take care of fuel, you got to pay taxes, and all your fixed and variable costs. Obviously, you got to cover that, and anything else you got to pay for. But if you really think about it, you making enough money on a week-to-week basis. But really, it depends on the way you run, and the way you run, you like to, you feel me? You like to go. That's what I like about you, because I like to do the same thing. You like to go. So with that being said, I've obviously you're gonna make enough money to cover what you need to cover on a weekly basis. And it also comes into play just being smart about how you fueling, because that's your biggest expense is fuel on a week-to-week basis. You got to be smart about how you fueling. That's how you end up with the big checks. Now I'll throw my checks in here just to show like a quote-unquote rookie can be successful doing a lease at Prime. So I'm not, just throwing numbers out there or just, being biased because I work at Prime. I will throw my checks up here. I'll throw it up there somewhere. You assume more responsibility for more money. So obviously, you gotta be careful about how you driving. PMs, preventative maintenance. Just being diligent and like making sure you being a what I want to call it, defensive driver. So you're not getting into accidents, you're not hitting deers. No shade to you because you hit the deer before you left. Before you left Prime. No shade to you, but like just being defensive, making sure you're not getting into any accidents. No distracted driving and stuff like that. Like I said, I'll even post my own pay stub, so I'm not just rambling at them out and stuff like that. Your funds can be as steady as a company driver as long as you take care of business. Obviously, like I said before, things are gonna happen, or things happen. Like you can't tell the future. So, things happen. Like you might hit a deer. You might need to call RA and get a tow. You might get a flat tire on your trailer or on your steer tires or something like that. Obviously things happen, but a good business owner is gonna have funds set aside. Not even just in that E-fund, but like a good business owner is gonna have funds set aside to take care of those things when they come, when those issues present themselves. But like, I don't know. This is not a video to talk about, company versus lease. It's just my personal opinion to you that you should have tried lease. I know like some people be scared. Oh, I gotta pay all this stuff. I gotta pay taxes. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. But like, I don't know, man. It's just that mindset you gotta have. Not saying you don't have it, but like, I feel like a lot of people shy away from lease once they hear like, oh, I gotta pay all this extra stuff. But if you being honest with yourself, you making the money on a week-to-week basis to pay for it. If you know how to budget. Because a lot of people, they make money. I ain't gonna lie, I seen the biggest settlement I had since I've been out here. For the 4 to 5 months I've been out here, last week I seen the biggest settlement. Man, I wanted to go home and blow that whole thing, but I didn't because, it's just about being a smart business owner. So it's just little things like that. But I think people shy away from lease because you have to pay all these extra things. But like I said, you making the money on a weekly basis to pay for that. I was one of those people. I was gonna go company when I got done my TNT in what was that, January? Yeah, I was gonna go company, but my TNT trainer, he had talked me into it, was showing me all his because he been I think he was leasing for a cool 10 years. He's still leasing. But yeah, man, I don't know too much about Helwig, but they seem like a solid company. I did do a little bit of research, but they seem like a solid company. I'm not really looking to go anywhere. I'm cool with Prime. Obviously I'm in my lease, so I'm not really looking to go anywhere at the moment. But yeah, man, I just think you should have, the way you like to run, I don't think company is for you, because I feel like you capping yourself. And like I said, the whole point of a lease is to take aim at higher profits. And I think you're smart enough to run a business, you know, manage fuel and all that stuff. I'll even put up my stuff, my fuel rankings. I'll even put that up. It was better like last week, but it don't matter. As long as you know how to run your fuel and just not even take the right loads, but you got to be proactive. That's what Slime Pack be saying, that you got to be proactive instead of reactive. You know, be diligent when it comes to shipping, shippers and receivers. Sometimes you might have to call and be like, hey, I'm trying to check the status of a load. Hey, can I drop this off early? XYZ, you feel me? But it's just the little things. Just my 2 cents. You ain't got to take it, but I feel like I had to say some things because a lot of these things about a lease purchase or a lease op aren't being said. But I hope Helwig treating you right. You still ain't post that pay stub, but hey man, y'all take care. This is my first video. I'll probably upload something later. But yeah, I gotta get back to being in front of the camera type. But y'all take care. I'm gonna get out of here, get some sleep. I'm getting unloaded at this BJ's in where am I at? Northeast Maryland. Yeah, I'm getting unloaded. About to take a nap probably, edit this video, and